Pennsylvania Democrat Senator John Fetterman joins me. Nice to talk to you, sir. And before we get to the issue of Maine politics, I want to ask you one question. The president of the United States has indicated he's going to sell F-35s to Turkey, which Prime Minister Netanyahu is not in favor of, and Israel has a military edge because it has F-35s. What's your view on whether we should be sending F-35s to Turkey, and can we trust Turkey?
No, I absolutely don't support that. I mean, Turkey, they've become incredibly and intensely anti-Israel. It wasn't just recently. They actually, in the negotiations with Hezbollah, they claim that they're gonna stand Hezbollah with the resistance. And we all know what the resistance means. That's more terrorism and trying to destroy Israel and kill more Jews. So I absolutely do not support the sale of our best technology to Turkey. Yes, now they're a member of NATO, and technically they are ally. But the second any nation goes and moves against Israel, then absolutely will change my view and would not provide them the kind of technology that we're able to provide.
And since Israel is not a member of NATO, there's no obligation of NATO members to rush in to defend Israel should that happen. Article 5 won't be invoked. All right, now turning to Maine. What's the Democratic Party going to do? I'm making the assumption that the current candidate will step down. Now what?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's been a dead man walking politically for a while. And now I can't think of a single member of Congress in the Democratic Party that's defending him or now just going to shed a tear. As far as I know, the only people I've seen was Stephen King. I think Stephen King's the only guy, if he hasn't deleted it, saying that Platner should not step down and defended Platner. Now, of course, the Republicans would love that. The Republicans would love if they have Platner stayed in that race, clearly. But overall, he's going to resign. Whether it's tonight or tomorrow, it really doesn't matter because he's been gone for a while.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, he's had a lot of problems prior to this rape allegation. When people endorsed him, members of your party, do you think they really, prior to the rape allegation, do you think they really believed in him, or did they just hold their nose and say that because they wanted to make sure a Democrat won against Collins?
I think the real story for me is, as a committed Democrat, why did so many people on the left got so quickly all in on that? Was clearly he's always been an absolute disgrace and a degenerate. I mean, overall. I mean, so why so many people on the left got all in on him and quickly, and they were willing to ignore all of this, crazy thing that he says on Reddit, or the kinds of way he treated women. And you just watched that clip. That poor woman had to describe, that she was raped by Platner, and so I think finally the Democratic Party just realized, oh my God, what have we done? We've blindly followed him, and that's why I would encourage Sanders to just stop and rethink. And now why, hasn't he have to just set this out? He pushed for Platner more than anyone has. Now, why is he now able to now be a part of the conversation to pick the next person? So for me, mathematically, flipping the seat, in my state, that's made it mathematically possible to flip the majority in the Senate. Sanders and a lot of these other extreme Democrats put that in risk by getting behind somebody like Platner that was an absolute dirtbag, and now puts it in complete flux. As far as I can remember, we've ever had a Democratic candidate that was forced to resign from the biggest Senate race in the country because he was credibly accused of raping a woman on CNN. And now,
Senator John Fetterman.
Please let me say this now. I just read the statement from Sanders. He never even mentioned that poor woman that she just claimed that that Platner raped. Why we can't talk about the victim? Why can't we just say how terrible that must have been and how brave it was her to get on national television to describe, that kind of a trauma, and now they have not even seen anyone condemn Platner for what he's behaved and done those things. And many of them actually dismissed the New York Times article that described he has serious problem with violence against women.
Senator John Fetterman from the great state of Pennsylvania. Thank you, sir.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.